Have you ever been on a website, you click a button, and boom, a menu just pops up? Or you start typing in a search bar and the results just magically appear right there instantly? Well, what's the secret behind all that? It's not magic, not at all. It's actually a core idea that took websites from being these static, boring pages into the dynamic, living apps we use every single day. Today, we're going to break down that fundamental concept.
So think about it like this. On one hand, you've got a web page that basically has amnesia. It doesn't remember anything. It can't remember if you've clicked on something or what you've typed. It's just there. But on the other hand, you have a UI that remembers. It responds to what you do. That ability to remember and to react, well, that's the whole game. So what's the secret ingredient that gives an application this memory?
Well, that secret has a name, and it comes from a library called React. It's called State. And let me tell you, it is absolutely not an exaggeration to say that if you want to build any kind of modern, interactive app, I don't care if it's a simple to-do list or a massive social media feed, you have to understand State. So let's dive in.
So what is state, really? When you strip everything else away, it's just data. But it's a special kind of data. It's data that belongs to a specific piece of your user interface, what we call a component in the React world. And here's the most important part. This data is designed to change. You can almost think of it as a component's own little private memory.
And here it is. This is the golden rule. The one thing you absolutely need to burn into your brain. When a component's state, its private memory changes, React automatically, behind the scenes, redraws that part of the screen to show that change. That's it. This simple cause and effect relationship is the engine that drives literally all interactivity in a React application.
I know. That can still sound a little technical, a little abstract. So let's try an analogy to make this whole thing feel a lot more real. Let's think about human memory, and maybe even moods.
It's actually kind of wild how well this lines up. Think about it. When your internal mood changes, say you hear some good news and you feel happy, your external behavior changes, right? You might smile more, you might have more energy. Well, a component's state works the exact same way. When its internal data changes, its external appearance on the screen updates to match. It's that direct.
Okay, enough with the theory, right? Theory is great, but let's actually see this thing in action. We're going to use the classic go-to example for learning about state, a super simple counter. It is the perfect way to see this entire life cycle play out from start to finish.
So here's the whole playbook, laid out in 4 simple steps. Step 1, we start with an initial state. Our count is 0. The page loads, it says 0. Step 2, a user does something, right? An action. They click the plus button. Step 3, that click calls a special function that's job is to update the state. It says, hey, change the count from 0 to 1. And then step 4, this is the magic part, React sees that the state has changed and it automatically updates the UI to show the new number. And that's the fundamental loop, every single time. Action leads to a state change, which leads to a UI update.
Now you might be thinking, a counter? That's it? But trust me, that simple little example, that loop we just talked about, that is the fundamental building block for pretty much every single interactive feature you use on the modern web.
I mean, really think about it. You know when you click a button to expand a menu or show some hidden content? That's just state changing from hidden to visible. When you're typing into a search bar and you see the text you're typing, that's state updating with every single keystroke. You see new notifications pop up without you having to reload the page. That's state being updated with new data from a server. Even just knowing if you're logged into a website or not. Yep, that's managed by state. It is absolutely everywhere. So here's the big takeaway. State gives each little piece of your UI its own private memory. It allows it to manage itself and react to you. But, and this is a big but, that leads to a really interesting new question. If every component's memory is private, how in the world do we get them to work together? How does your shopping cart know what you just added from a completely different Buy Now button? Well, that's the next big step in mastering React, but we'll have to save that one for another day.